Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel, Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Again, you can support us at all of our cash the applications at BIDWKB. So the story that I'm going to bring to you guys actually begins on Halloween night 2010 in Baltimore County, just over the city county line, okay? There was a shooting that night, that Halloween night, in which three teens were shot. Tragically, one of those teens lost their life. 16-year-old Daquan Burke, if I have the young man's name correct. I think I do. And what happened after this teenager was murdered on Halloween is a story that helps to further illuminate what we already know and what we like to repeat and reiterate here on this channel, because the propaganda surrounding police being the solvers of crimes, and that when the cops put the cuffs on someone and when the prosecutors move forward with a case, then justice has been served. But as we keep seeing time and time again, even in the 21st century, I'm not talking about some motherfucking murder that had no forensics or no DNA that happened in the 70s, 80s, 90s. No, no, no. This is big 2010. You understand? So we're going to pick up the story. We're going to go to, I think this is going to be the story as it was covered in 2010 by WBAL. And it all begins with Daquan's murder, and it culminates to the events that occurred in recent days in Baltimore County surrounding the hostage standoff situation, in which a person went live on Instagram and made a number of confessions. But let's start back in 2010. Take a look.
Well, Halloween proved deadly after three people were shot in Baltimore County. One of the victims, a 16-year-old boy. 11 News reporter Lowell Meltzer now is live at county headquarters, and he has the very latest for us on this story. Lowell?
Yeah, at this point, police are still trying to figure out a motive. However, those close to the investigation say that it most likely had something to do with the feud between the Cherry Hill neighborhood in the city and the Baltimore Highlands neighborhood in the county.
I heard he was at a Halloween party, and that's basically all I was told, was that he was at a Halloween party and some guys got to shooting, and that was it.
Kimberly Bradford, aunt of 16-year-old Daquan Burks, knew where he was headed Sunday night, but doesn't understand how he ended up getting shot and ultimately dying of his injuries here in the 100 block of Twin Circle Way. Police say 15-year-old Traquan Woodard and 19-year-old Amin Shahid were with Burks and were also shot but survived.
All we know is we're missing a nephew right now.
Police say the three teens were actually shot here at this footbridge that crosses over the BW Parkway. The teens then struggled back to Twin Circle Way after being shot, where Burks collapsed.
We do not know whether these three victims were involved in any type of trick-or-treating activities, but what we can say is that an altercation did occur somewhere away from that community that ended up into that community.
As for Kimberly Bradford and Daquan Burks' family, they're still trying to piece together who he was hanging out with and why.
Playful, loving, funny. He was just there. Yeah. And, you know, he always tried to take out for his friends, as he say his friends, but, you know, I tell him you get like 5 true friends in your lifetime, so you're hanging with 20 guys, and all of them can't be your friend, you know.
Now, police say they are looking for at least one suspect in this case, but there could be more. Anyone with information should call Metro Crime Stoppers at 1-866-7-LOCK-UP. There is a $2,000 reward right now for information leading to an arrest and a conviction. We're live at Baltimore County Police Headquarters tonight in Towson. I'm Lowell Meltzer, WBAL TV 11 News.
So, gang, Baltimore County Police did make an arrest in Daquan's murder, and I wanted to play that package because, again, so many young Black boys and men are taken from us via gun violence. Sometimes all the names and faces just become a blur. In fact, when I was trying to find packages around the story, every time I typed in 16-year-old murdered in Baltimore, I can't even tell you the amount of stories that popped up, just to give you an idea of how rampant the violence is against our young men out here. But Daquan was murdered in 2010 of Halloween of 2010. Few short weeks later, Baltimore County Police made an arrest, and they arrested a teenager by the name of Sterling Matthews. Sterling was charged with second-degree murder and a number of other offenses because, as you heard, two other teenagers were shot during the course of that incident on Halloween. The first trial against Sterling resulted in a mistrial, but he was eventually convicted by a jury in Baltimore County. Again, convicted of second degree murder, convicted of 11 counts, I believe, of first degree assault and 3 gun offenses. And Sterling was sentenced to 115 years in prison. You heard that right. Well, thank you very much for popping that up. 115 years in prison. Okay. This young man was offered a plea deal to cop to a lesser charge in exchange for a 15-year sentence. He turned it down. Sterling Matthews has maintained his innocence the entire time. Again, he was 17 when this incident happened and 19 years old when he received a sentence of 115 years. He is currently serving that sentence in the Maryland Department of Corrections. Now, that would have been the end of Sterling's story, would it not? But for a hostage situation in Baltimore County almost 2 weeks ago, in which a 31-year-old, I believe, young man by the name of Antonio Hart was involved in a violent standoff with police. Antonio Hart was murdered by police during the course of this standoff, but before he was murdered, he took to Instagram Live. And, you know, it's interesting, I suppose, when people who are in life or death struggles with the cops, or with anybody, I guess, decides to turn on they phone and go live on a given platform to perhaps live stream what may be their last moments. And in this case, it was Antonio's last moments. But I want to preface this video with some content warnings. You are going to see this young man's amongst his last moments. There is no actual violence, no gunshots. You're not going to see him being killed, but you are going to hear him make a number of startling confessions about murders that he says that he committed, including the murder of Daquan Burke, which Sterling Matthews is already doing time. In fact, Sterling has been in jail for over a decade behind this murder. And I want you to listen to what Antonio Hart has to say. So this clip, again, is going to be replete with young dude gangsterism. You're gonna hear some rap music in the beginning. That was not music that we added. That was music that he was playing when he decided to go live, but then the music cuts out. And then you'll hear his confessions. Very, very, very striking. So anyway, y'all, pay attention to this. Content warnings, trigger warnings, all that. Will, let's roll it.
Will you please kindly get away from my house? I do not want to open fire on you. Get the fuck away from the door. You're going to die too. I have 100-round drums, AK-47 here, and everybody going to die. The revolution must be televised. Get the fuck away from my house, bitch. I'm tired of 12. I'm tired of y'all fucking harassing me and oppressing me. Y'all been doing this my whole life since 98, since I was 6 years old. I'm ready to die, surround the house, do whatever y'all going to do. Y'all going to die. Listen, no, I'm not going to open the door, and if you come and try to use force at the door, I'm going to shoot. So step off the porch, officer. Please step off the porch, officer. Get me a hostage negotiator here now. This is live. Antonio Hart is going to die. Get the police. You got the camera. I'm fucking tired of y'all shit. Y'all fuck my household up, bro. Y'all fuck my household up. Get the fuck. I'm about to shoot him. I'm about to shoot him. All right, everybody ready to die, dummy. I'm ready to die today, Monty. I love you, cuz. I love you, cuz. I stabbed myself through the heart. You heard me? 12 out here, they got my shit surrounded. I'm ready to let it hit on 12 on Instagram, y'all. I'm ready to let it hit on 12, y'all, on Instagram, y'all. Y'all think I'm playing? Look, screen record this. OG Bobby Johnson ready to go out. 046. Yeah, Rambo, bitch. I'm going out with a bang. I told them crabs, get the fuck away from here. This shit real, nigga. Shaw Squad baby shit. Rambo shit. I got the AK in here. You feel me? The ARP. Yeah, I got 3 highly powered fucking machine guns in this bitch. I'm going to take 10 police officers with me before I go. Y'all got Glocks. I got a Glock. I got an AK, and we gonna have fun. Okay? Get the hostage negotiator to come to the front door. To step on the front. If y'all come any closer, I'm gonna shoot you on this side of the bush, and I'm gonna shoot you. Officer. Bitch ass nigga. Suck my motherfucking dick, cousin. You hear me, cousin? You hear me, cousin? I ain't worried about nothing, nigga. And I'm thugging, nigga. And money, you on this bitch, and you better tell me you love me, nigga. Fuck, cuz. Fuck is you talking about? Yeah, I'm dying today. I can't take it no more. I watched everybody die around me. Sterling Matthews is doing a life sentence right now. Is doing a life sentence right now in Cumberland for somebody I killed. Somebody I killed on Halloween with a Hellraiser mask. I had that Glock 17, and that 25 caliber that night that killed Daquan. I did that shit 2010 Halloween. Pin razor mask. Boy, Sterling ain't do that shit. I love you, woo baby, but he ain't do that shit. Big Rambo did that shit 2010. Stepped on him. Yeah, Tyran, I killed him too 2011. I killed him too up the apartments playing games, came through the lake playing games, stepped on his bitch ass, came through, let off shots, ain't hit me, double back in 48 minutes and killed that nigga, dummy. You hear me? Stepped on him. O'Dyer them try to say I read it. Niggas try to say I read it. So I walked motherfucking side, he through the alley and Rambo caught and gave his little ass 10 shots in his head too. Boom, 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 boom. Then I stood over him, dummy. Boom, 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 boom. Fuck is you talking about? Then I went, dummy, I'm dead, dummy. I'm dead. Then I went down Calhoun Street. And I killed like 3 niggas down there. You feel me? Yes, money. Make sure this shit gets out. You got niggas that's doing time sentence for shit that I done did. You feel me? Cool. I still doing business for the hood. Niggas doing time behind me. But I'm gonna go out with a bang today and I ain't gonna leave nobody behind, bro. No guy shit far behind. I feel bad. That shit hurt me to my heart. Sterling Matthews doing a life sentence behind his fucking dog. He ain't no shit that what I did with that rod. Yeah.
That's a lot right there. That is a whole lot. That was Antonio Hart again, murdered by police. As you see, he was ready to go. But even in that video confession or his live there, oh my God, the questions, everybody, the questions, so many questions. Listening to him, he certainly does not sound like a sympathetic figure. In fact, he sounds like a serial killer, right? He's admitting to at least 3 murders or maybe 6 murders. I mean, he sounded like he was copping to a lot of murders. But one of the things that he said, when he was threatening the police, he was like, y'all done fucked up my whole household. Y'all done oppressed me for all this time, all his whole life, right? I would be interested to hear Antonio's story. Unfortunately, he's gone and he can't ever tell it. But somebody know, like, how did these people, how did this young man arrive this way? You understand? He's only 30, 31 years old. I can only imagine what he saw and the ages that he saw it at, what he witnessed, the ages that he witnessed it at, and whatever his home situation was, his neighborhood situation, I would imagine did a lot to shape what we just saw right there, right? But so back to the murder of Daquan Burks. Antonio Hart in IG just admitted that he killed Daquan. Sterling Matthews is doing 115 years right now. Some of those other homicides that Antonio mentioned in his confession remain unsolved, y'all. What does this tell us about the state of policing, right? When we think of police, right, and one of the primary functions, not what we know police's primary function to be protect property and to keep niggas in line, right? That primary fun. But when the masses, this when society thinks of what's the main thing police do? Oh, well, they solve murders, right? They figure out who killed who. They catch killers. They put killers in jail. Do they? Or do they just grab whoever the fuck is close, whoever the fuck fit the description, whoever the fuck may have been in proximity to the scene when the murder happened, and just say, yup, he'll do. Oh, yeah, we could probably make a case against him. Look at him, right? People are so quick to assume the worst about young black men and young black boys. And prosecutors know that. Police know that. So they can just snatch up whoever the fuck's convenient, whoever's handy, and put their ass right the fuck in jail, which is exactly what it sounds like happened to Sterling Matthews. And because of this viral IG confession, questions are now being asked of Baltimore County officials, and just to make a distinction for those of y'all who may not be from the area, there is Baltimore City, right? M&T Bank Stadium, okay, in a harbor, Baltimore City, National Aquarium. And then there's Baltimore County. Baltimore County surrounds Baltimore City, okay? They are adjacent, but two separate entities. So Baltimore City and Baltimore County are not interchangeable. They are different places, but they are right next to each other, just for some context. And now Baltimore County officials are getting some questions at minimum. And the family of Sterling Matthews has been waiting over a decade for at least somebody to listen to them, right? And because of this video confession, now the family is finally being heard. So I want us to listen to Sterling Matthews' mother. WBFF Fox 45 went and spoke with her. And just to give an idea about what this family has been going through with their loved one losing his youth, losing his life with a 115-year sentence for a crime that he always said he didn't do. And now a confession might exonerate him, could potentially exonerate him. But let's listen and hear from Sterling Matthews' family.
All right, so walk me through some of these pictures.
So this is just my family wall of just, some of the stuff with the kids. This was like in middle school.
Tanika Brogdon, Matthews' mother, speaking out for the first time.
Their opening arguments to the jury was, we have no evidence against Mr. Matthews.
Sterling Matthews, 13 years into a 115-year sentence.
What's it been like the last 13 years without your son Sterling?
A nightmare, a bad dream, like a part of my soul is missing.
It's a nightmare she says she can't wake up from.
Walk me through the events of that day. What did you do?
We went to Halloween party, then we went trick-or-treating in the neighborhood, came back home. It was dark time. I mean, a regular night.
And Sterling was with you?
Yes.
So when you got home that night, do you remember Sterling leaving, or?
No.
He never left the house?
No.
But according to Baltimore County investigators, Sterling Matthews was here on this bridge, the alleged shooter and killer of 16-year-old Daquan Burke. So we asked Sterling directly from his prison cell.
The news people are here. You're on speaker right now.
Did you shoot and kill Daquan Burke?
No, not at all. I had nothing to do with it. Never. Always told the people I was innocent. It had nothing to do with it. Wasn't even there. They wouldn't do what they supposed to do as far as it's like thorough investigation.
Tanika even testifying to that in court. The first trial ended in a hung jury, but the second.
When you heard the word guilty, what was your emotion?
Like somebody reached inside my body and snatched my soul.
Now the investigation may be headed in a different direction after a video confession by Antonio Hart, killed during a police standoff.
I had that Glock 17. And that 25 caliber that night that killed Daquan, I did that 2010 Halloween, pin raising mask. Boy, Sterling ain't do that. I love you, woo baby, but he ain't do that. Big Rambo did that.
Homicide detectives are currently investigating the comments that were made by the individual during the standoff. We don't have any information that we're able to release at this point, but we are actively looking into that.
I often look through the baby pictures. It helps me, makes me feel close to him.
Now, Tanika is hoping that part of her soul will be home soon.
I haven't even thought that far yet. I see it. This is what I've been waiting for.
This is a tale as old as time in the US, right? If there's a crime, any crime, you pin it on the nearest black person. Oh, you got a black man over there? Even better, because the chances are he did that shit, right? I mean, because this country has villainized and criminalized black people's existence so much that even when people who are clearly innocent, right? They're not heard. The interest of the state is not to pursue justice. The interest of the state is to pursue punishment, is to pursue a conviction. They're not interested in getting who actually did the shit. Who can they pin it on? This is why so many black people were so easily lynched and hung in years past, in yesteryear, yestercentury. I mean, depending on your definition of lynching, but I'm talking about get a rope in a tree. But you understand, like the niggas was in proximity, they did it. And how has that changed? How has any of that changed? Guys, when you look nationally at the clearance rates for law enforcement when it comes to crimes like homicide, it is abysmal, okay? Like it usually is under 50% most years. Most times, 50% of the homicides in this country do not get solved. And them getting a conviction does not equate a crime being solved. It equates a person being put in jail and convicted of something. Doesn't matter if it's the right somebody. I have not heard whether or not um the Baltimore County State's Attorney is looking into this. I'm not certain if the ACLU, the Innocence Project, like there needs to be other outside organizations, uh, outside attorneys that can file like motions and shit, briefs and shit to try to get this young man out of jail. Now, I have seen interviews with his attorney who basically reinforced what the mother said, that the county, the prosecutors, when Sterling was initially tried, they had no evidence. They had no forensic evidence. I don't even believe they found the gun, right? So they had no fingerprints, no DNA, nothing linking Sterling to this murder. How were they able to convince a jury that he did it? I know how. Racisms. That's how. But I mean, it just continue. I mean, it should not boggle the mind. It should not surprise any of us. But I still get shocked. And I shouldn't be. And I'm furious at my own naivete and sort of wishful thinking that the obvious truth and justice will become plain, and that people who did not do certain things will be set free. And that obviously is not the case. This kid is doing 115 years. He said the whole time he didn't do it. Did anybody listen to him? Besides his mother, besides his public defender? Doesn't sound like it. But Antonio Hart, the man on the Instagram live making the multiple murder confessions, I have a lot of questions about who he was, how he came up. And, I can't say that that I 100% lack empathy for him, because I don't, even though he sounds like a fucking monster. He sounds like he was absolutely a terror and a menace out here on the streets of Baltimore and of the county. But I know he didn't just become that way. Like I don't believe he was born that way. How did he get this way? 2010, that's 13 years ago. He's 31. So he was a old teenager, very young 20 something when he allegedly committed these murders per his confession. Why is he out here responsible for so many murders? Why is it our young men feel as though this is the way to resolve disputes, to resolve conflict? You know what I'm saying? You just shoot at 3 people not bothering you on a Halloween. Why? Because you could. And where was the police? Tracking the wrong person, convicting the wrong person. Where was the police on some of these other unsolved homicides that Antonio Hart claimed credit for? Obviously not getting his fucking ass off the goddamn streets. I assure you, when the police surrounded his home in that standoff, it wasn't because of the murders that he just admitted to. It was for some other shit, right? And unfortunately, in Baltimore County in recent weeks and Baltimore City, there's been a lot of hostage standoffs and tragically 16-year-olds being murdered. Again, when you do certain searching in Baltimore, it's like, God damn, this wasn't even the tragic event that I was searching for. This is a whole different tragic event that lines up very closely with the one I was looking for, but happened in a whole different anyway. So you guys, and these are the same people that want more money for policing. We need some accountability. We need to know who the detectives were, who worked this homicide, who was the Baltimore County prosecutor. Oh, and let me tell you guys. Okay, so the first package that we watched from WBAL, where it interviewed the murder victims' family members, that was from 2010. Yeah. When I went to search specifically videos from when Sterling Matthews was convicted and when he was sentenced to 115 years, curiously, curiously, none of the local Baltimore media outlets, none of the main ones, WBAL, which is the NBC, WJZ, which is the CBS, and fucking WMAR, which is the ABC, none of these Bammers had those videos up posted on their website. They had the story, they had the text, but all the videos connected to the sentencing of Sterling Matthews to 115 years, all the videos of their live reporting were gone mysteriously. I thought that was very telling. And when that happens, I want you guys to clock it, because these are some of these media outlets' attempt at sort of scrubbing and reframing the narrative, because I can only imagine the fawning coverage and the praise heaped upon police and prosecutors by some of these local media outlets in securing this conviction of surrounding the murder tragically of the 16-year-old on Halloween night. I wanted to hear what the tone was, because I know. I mean, every mainstream outlet is guilty of propaganda, but I'm telling y'all, the TV outlets in Baltimore, plus the Baltimore Sun, are notorious propaganda public relations spinners, right? They take up for Baltimore City Police, Baltimore County Police. They take up for the police at every turn. And I think it was with a lot of intention and deliberation that I could not find the coverage of when Sterling Matthews was sentenced to 115 years. Come on, y'all don't think that was something that the local news would have covered? Of course they would have covered that shit. They would have been standing right outside the Townsend courthouse with the live update. The verdict and the sentencing has come down 115 years, and yet no videos. Where did videos go, everybody? I know where they went. Don't try to clean up the shit now, Channel 11. y'all was all in favor of the lynching of this young man, of Sterling Matthews, and sentenced him to 115 years, meaning that this kid received a sentence of which he will never come home from unless intervention is taken, and it needs to be taken immediately. And this is not the first time that we, even on this platform, have seen in the state of Maryland someone be held and prosecuted for something that they didn't do. The story of Keith Davis Jr. Really cannot be told enough. If you don't know who Keith Davis Jr. is, we have playlists and shit on the website, on the channel. In short, Keith Davis Jr. was held in jail for 7 years for basically a murder that he did not commit. Marilyn Mosby, the former Baltimore state's attorney, maliciously prosecuted Keith several times, several, like plurals, 4, 5, 6, 7 times for some shit that he didn't do. Finally, when Marilyn Mosby was ousted from office in an election, the person who came after her decided not to prosecute Keith anymore and set him free. But he spent 7 years in jail for some shit that he didn't do. And we think about that sort of as like a relic perhaps of the 20th century. Oh, well, they didn't have DNA. The police, then weren't searching forensics, or they weren't interviewing. No. The cops they do piss poor police work right now. With all the tools and the technology, they still are too fucking lazy to actually find the real perpetrators of shit. And let this sad tale of multiple lives fucked up. Daquan Burke murdered on Halloween. His killer, Antonio, because he was not apprehended and because police picked up the wrong boy and prosecuted him, Antonio was allowed to kill others. Many others, it sounds as though, right? So really, the police ineptitude and incompetence is responsible. They should be taking credit for all Antonio's subsequent homicides, right? Because their piss poor policing let this serial killer roam free for over a decade while an innocent boy languished in Maryland penitentiary, in the big boy penitentiary. They didn't send him to the fucking youth services. They sent him to the penitentiary. Antonio said on the IG that Sterling Matthews is up Cumberland right now, y'all. Cumberland is out Western Maryland, but one of the bigger penitentiaries in the state. This is where this kid is. He's not a kid anymore, but he was when he went. And this, you can lay all of this at the feet of poverty, of capitalism, of white supremacy, and of course, the failed institution. Well, I can't even call it a failed institution of policing because I guess it's doing what it's supposed to do. Putting niggas in jail. Not even necessarily guilty niggas, literally any niggas. Any fucking niggas they can find and put in jail for any fucking thing. They will. And I suppose that is ultimately the real role of the police. So we want to send solidarity vibes to Sterling Matthews, to his family, to his supporters. I will keep you guys posted as updates come in. But I mean, where the fuck is Wes Moore, bitch ass, on this shit? I hope Wes Moore was watching Baltimore news and decided to, accelerate the freedom process for Sterling Matthews, because what's the fucking point of having a black governor if you're not gonna move to help black people? But we know that's not why Wes Moore is in there. Wes Moore is there to be cute, I guess. Anyway, ask Wes Moore when he's gonna free Sterling Matthews and get back to me on that.